kids won't talk to him. His kids call him the most horrible, gruesome names. His kids call him a Jew. That's what his kids call him. And now his wife exercised some parental alienation, which means that when one spouse alienates the children against the other spouse, so his kids won't talk to him. He says he eats breakfast with his kid. They put the box of cereal between them. They go into his house. They take grapes, put it on the floor at school, smash on the floor. His own children want to cause him such tremendous pain and agony. They do the most cruel things to him. His ex-wife now is converted to Christianity, and she's bringing the kids with him. This is someone who's very, very involved in the Jewish community. We all want to avoid that. Yet, the most important decision we're ever going to make in our lives is who we're going to marry. Lawrence. That's the most important thing, and it's an occupation that we do all the time. Right? You guys are already almost, 20, 21? You're almost there. 19? Right?
Almost 19.
People, you guys are all going to school. You're going to spend 4 years to become a professional. You're going to spend 8 years to become a lawyer, a doctor, or even more. Right? What training do you guys get in marriage or in having a family? This is it. It's an hour with Rabbi Wolbe. That's it. So I hope you guys take your notes and remember everything I say. Nathaniel, what do you say? Okay. Why do we get married? Gentlemen, I'm throwing a question around the table. Everyone says that they want to get married. I want to know why.
Free sex.
I'm gonna go a little cleaner than that. To have someone clean the house.
To have someone clean the house. So that you're
Life to this world.
okay. No, so that's incorrect because and no. Let's go one at a time. What you said is incorrect because in all likelihood it's more expensive than paying for sex. In the end, especially if you get divorced, it'll be a lot more money, right? You'll pay for it one way or the other.
No sex when you get divorced.
Okay, then your thing is not obviously it's insane because most women today won't clean up the house. That's the reality, and it's much cheaper. Like we said, we always want. It's not cost effective to get married in order to have. Yes, what do you say?
Are we saying it in terms of like Judaism or in terms of whatever, like secular?
Everyone here around the table said you want to get married. You don't tell me why.
It's a proclamation of
Gosh.
It's a proclamation of your intimacy. I mean, like
Intimacy?
Or the mitzvah pure.
Don't get mitzvah, okay? Not to have children. If you want to have children, you should find a very, very strong, sturdy, farm woman who's 6'3". You can have really strong children. What do you say, Isaac? Huh? To have a family. I like that. That's very good. But to have a family. Okay. Okay.
It's an investment.
It's an investment?
Yeah.
Yeah, but most people have the worst return on investment in that investment.
And the lucky ones.
It's like investing in Enron. Most cases.
You have to take a risk on love, so that's just.
So love. That was what I was hoping someone would say. I was hoping someone would say that, but it's incorrect.
They're romantic.
It's incorrect, but that's the word I was looking for. I was hoping someone would say that. I always say because that's the first misconception.
Or companionship.
The number one misconception about marriage is that marriage is because of love. When most people say love, they in fact mean
Needs.
lust.
Oh.
Thank you, Nathaniel. Most people say they fell in love. What they really mean is they fell in
Lust. That's what I'm saying.
in lust. Right. Do we have a definition? First of all, people use the word love very freely.
Yeah.
What is the definition of the word love?
Ahava.
No, that's the Hebrew word. We're going to translate. What's the definition of love? Love is not something it's not like on steroids. I like steak. No. I love steak. That's not it. That's incorrect. I mean, you love yourself and you want to eat the steak.
In
benefit.
Love is defined as celestial. You want to spend the rest of your life with this
Can you
person.
use by Torah a little bit?
Huh?
Can you use by Torah a little bit?
If it's less than 20 seconds.
Okay, love in Hebrew is the same shorsh. It means to give.
Hava. Okay.
Okay,
That's that, but that's not a definition. That's a way to acquire love.
Okay.
The definition of love. Children, listen to me and write this down and embed this into your mind. The definition of love is the emotional pleasure one gets when he or she recognizes the virtues in someone else and identifies the person with those virtues. To recognize the virtue in someone else and to identify the person with those virtues, that is love. When you recognize the goodness in someone else and you identify the person with those...
bad virtue?
Well, everyone has good and bad. The question is you can identify... Everyone has good and bad character traits. Everyone has.
That just allows love to be overused.
Yeah, I feel like then
Like now you can say I love LeBron James because he could score 45
No,
points. And I recognize his virtues that he could score 45 points.
We're talking about real virtues,
Yeah,
character
mutual,
virtues.
no?
Not like I love him because he has an awesome car. You love someone because you recognize their virtues. Their true character virtues. Their midot.
it has to be more than just recognizing.
Recognizing and identifying. That's it.
Yeah, but no, it has to be more than that.
So why is that?
Because you could recognize anyone.
And you're supposed to love everyone.
Well, you could
Leviticus
recognize-
19.
I'm saying
You're supposed to love people, right? You're
Yeah,
commanded. You
but
should
you
love
can
every fellow as
recognize-
yourself. How is that possible to
but
command
how
someone
do you
an emotion?
differentiate between I love you and I love my future wife?
Well, it's the
I
same.
mean, like,
No. It's
Okay,
love.
That relationship's just forbidden. You and your wife
No,
is accepted.
no, sexual relations. Whatever. My point is, if you love everyone, then
You're
how do you...
supposed to love everyone, right? But you should love your fellows yourself. You have to love everyone. It doesn't
You're
mean
not
you have to
gonna
marry.
make love with everyone.
We in our society, we sometimes interpret the word love as meaning as only something of
That's why he's saying love is not
opposite
marriage.
sex.
That's why he's saying love is not marriage.
Love is an emotion. Love is an emotion. Right?
So marriage
I love
is the
you.
proclamation of love.
Wait, but you don't even know my virtues.
Right? Not yet, but I see something. No,
That's the argument why love is the wrong answer. For
Right,
love
it's
is
the whole
right.
point.
And love in Judaism, we teach. Love comes after. Love comes after marriage. Most people, they say they married because of love, but in truth, if they really cared about that other person, they'd find them someone nice to marry. We all know our own flaws. If you really care that much about the person, you're totally altruistic, you just care about that person, then you would find them someone nice to marry. You care about yourself.
But you don't know. That's really confusing because if you're gonna find that someone else,
That's really
you don't know who that other person is.
Listen,
And that other person has flaws, so in the end, no one gets married because everyone's pushing that.
I'm just saying. I
understand.
understand. I understand. I brought out some absurdity. I agree. That's true.
So you're saying
I was trying to bring a point. My point is that you cannot marry out of love. It does not work like that. Love is a result of marriage, not a prerequisite or something that
So
brings
how do
upon
you choose
marriage.
between different options?
What do you mean? How do you choose who you marry?
Yeah.
We'll get to that. Relax. We're just
But
defining
Also,
what.
you're,
Right now,
what
the
you
first
relate
scroll.
to
The
when you're
first
20
scroll.
is different when you relate
The
to
first.
when you're 40.
That's another good point. We'll get to that as well. The first point we
like
want to do
every-
is to
every
find out
century-
why are we getting
Why
married.
is getting married next year?
We want to find out why we're getting married. What is the purpose, the function of marriage? That's the first thing. Then we need to find out how to make it successful. And there's 5 C's. You got to remember those 5 C's, which make the marriage. So it's not because of love. Love is a. What is the opposite of pain? What is the opposite of pain?
Relief.
Pleasure.
Pleasure.
No, incorrect. Another misconception. The opposite of pain is no pain. Okay? Pleasure is a positive thing. Pleasure is a positive thing. To not have a negative does not equal a positive. To not have a negative does not equal a positive. To not have pain does not equal pleasure. Pleasure, the prerequisite to pleasure is
I
pain.
disagree with that. If you're neutral and then you
That's
go
comfort.
to pain,
It's comfort. That's the right word. The right word is comfort, not pleasure. The opposite of pain is comfort. We confuse comfort with pleasure. Real pleasure can only be a result of hard work, maybe even pain. Real pleasure can only be a result of hard work, maybe even pain. The opposite of pain is comfort. It's not pleasure. If you want to have pleasure, you have to earn it. It's not just you get rid of all the things which are hurting you, disturbing you, and you'll have pleasure. It's not the way it works. For example, you have someone who makes $1 million by himself, earns it, he has pleasure in the money. He gives it to his brat kid as an inheritance. The kid doesn't enjoy the money because he didn't earn it. You enjoy things that you work hard to achieve. You want to achieve love, the pleasure of love. You have to work to get it. And the more you work in it, the more pain the more effort, the more investment you put into it, the more pleasure it is. Okay, but that's a little side point. Okay, so why do we get married? Reason number 1. This is a verse in Genesis. Al ken Yaazov ish es aviv es imo. Can anyone finish that pasuk? Can anyone finish that verse in the scripture? Al ken Yaazov ish es aviv es imo. V'davak beishto.
something.
V'hayu lebasar echad. I'll translate that. Therefore, a man should leave his parents, go away from his house, don't stick to your mom forever, right? And he should cleave to his wife, and they should be one flesh. There should be one flesh. The first reason why we get married is because as a single person, you're half a person. Right? Zachar v'nekeva bara otam. This is another verse, another pasuk from Genesis. Man is really composed of two parts. Zachar v'nekeva. So long as you're single, you're half a person. You can never achieve anything in life.
So what if you're like gay?
Well, we're not talking about homosexuality. That'll be next week. I'll, if you want. But also,
Wait, so you're saying like you have
You could bring
like
your partner
certain
along.
characteristic traits. Let's say you're like this, and then she's like this, and you find someone that's opposite of you, so that you can make one.
that is a brilliant point because you just extrapolated what I said. If you're two halves of one whole, you got to find the right half. It's like a puzzle piece.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. So you have to. That's the work.
But then if you're like, let's say,
That is the
funny
first
and
C.
they're
The first C.
quiet,
The first C.
that doesn't always go together.
The first C is compatibility. And compatibility is by doing this research of who am I, and what do I need to like, where am I lacking?
Right.
Or what's important to me. Because you're pre-programmed to be perfectly acclimated with a certain woman.
Hear the dog?
So is there only one perfect person for you?
I don't know. Don't have an answer to that.
What if like that perfect
Yeah,
person
you
you
just
do
open
is,
the door.
let's say in Australia, like halfway.
So you'll meet her. You'll meet her at some point. If
So you're saying it's destiny? It's
No.
bound to happen.
no, I don't know. I don't have an
Say
answer
it's
to this
not gonna
question.
be you.
I don't have an answer to this question. I don't know. It's possible that there's more than one potential spouse for someone, or there's, let's say, a group of people who could potentially, any one of them could potentially be your spouse.
And how do you know when that person is the one?
You won't get a bolt of lightning. It's not a happening. It
get
doesn't
a
work
bolt
like
of
that. Lust.
You gotta
Lust
update.
works like that. Oh, you just get that suddenly inspiration. It doesn't work like that.
No, really,
It
you
works
guys
with an
do that.
intellectual plan. Like you plan and you do research and you do a vetting process. Vetting, vetting. I don't know how good is your English. I don't know. Vetting means to separate the good. It's to vet. I don't know how to say it in layman's terms. But part of the vetting process that we call dating is to find out, who is compatible with me and who's not. Yeah? But if there's only one person, then God obviously will veil that person for you. But if not, then you'll eventually bump into someone who is right for you, and you'll have to make the right steps, which we will delineate coming up. So the first reason is because you're half a man. You're half a man, you can't really do anything. Number two, how does the Torah describe a single person? Im begapo yavo begapo yitzeh. Does anyone remember that pasuk? Im begapo yavo begapo yitzeh. Huh?
Where do we say it?
We say in Mishpatim. If a Jewish slave, so you want to read you know it by heart?
Yeah.
Im
No,
begapo-
aren't you should?
A Jewish slave who gets sold to slavery for 6 years, his master may or may not allow or marry him off to one of the Gentile slave women.
remember that.
Yeah? Now, if he's single, then he's not allowed to marry him off. But if he's married, then he is allowed to marry him off. Now, how does the Torah describe a single person? Begapo. If he's single, then he cannot get married. I'm sorry I'm getting too minutiae. I know. I apologize for that. Okay. A single person described, gapo, it means his clothing. It means that a single person, his world ends by the edge of his clothing.
So he doesn't have a wife to sew his clothing.
No.
But in
That means-
in the midbar, it wouldn't have happened because when the Jews traveled, the clothes grew with them.
It just means that their world ends where their clothing ends. Right? Everything that's external to their clothing is not who they are.
It's metaphorical.
It's metaphorical, right? Thank you. Appreciate that. It means that they don't care about anyone besides for themselves, single people. The definition of marriage is that you're opening up your single self to someone else. You're cracking open that hard shell that you've been living in, that cocoon that you've been living in for 25 years of your life, to let your spouse be part of who you are. The second you crack your spouse, you crack your cocoon open, you're enabling yourself to become a much better person.
So you get married so you're not selfish.
Exactly. Marriage is the ultimate de-selfification process. I don't know if that makes, I don't know, was that a word? De-selfification. You become less selfish, you're able to, right, all of our avodah, all of our spiritual work, they all deal with the same point of becoming more of a people's person, more of someone who cares about everyone else. Right? All of Torah on one lead. You should love your fellow as yourself. What does that mean? All of Torah really is trying to teach us one idea, and that is to become less of a selfish person.
I missed it.
Become less of a selfish person. The only way you can do that, the only way you can start doing that is by becoming slowly, caring for more and more people, starting with your wife. That's the second reason why we get married. Okay, fine. What are the 5 C's? Number 1, compatibility. Number 2, common goals. Number 3,
Commitment.
very good.
Yeah.
Number 4, who wants to guess?
Companionship. No,
No.
the one Aaron said. Children. Coercion.
Children, no. Coercion, no. No. Communication. And the last one?
Cooperation.
No. The last one. Complete sexual fidelity. Fidelity, for those of you who went to yeshiva, means faithfulness. Now, let's go through one more time. Okay, compatibility, common goals, commitment, communication, complete fidelity. Every single successful marriage.
Sexual fidelity.
Yes.
3 words.
No, it's I'm saying, but it's
But
one
it
idea.
starts with a C, Isaac.
Well, actually, it was supposed to be sexual fidelity, but sexual fidelity does not start with a C. So I just added a complete.
Brilliant.
Now, every successful marriage, now what I mean by marriage, not only that they didn't get divorced, that, it means that they weren't miserable, they were happy to be together, they loved each other, they cared for each other, till the end of their lives. That's what we mean. We're going to embark on a relationship when we get married that is going to take us till we're 85.
I have a question.
Yes. Is it related to the topic?
It is.
Yes,
very,
okay.
But it'll sidetrack. We can talk about it at the end of class.
Yeah, but
What about where the guy comes out as gay throughout in the middle of the marriage?
well,
I feel like it's always you gotta ask that question. It's like,
yeah.
what you worry about.
Yeah, you have to worry about it.
I don't know if there is such a thing as being gay. I don't know if that's true.
Okay.
It's never been proven, but it's a good joke about that. Well, how come gay guys? Sorry, I know this is. I won't be able to post this in my class. But how come gay guys are such great dressers?
Because they act like a female.
Because they spend a lot of time in the closet. Yeah, I just heard that one recently, so that was very funny. But yes, I don't. It's not. It's not funny. No, that's funny. I think that's funny. Anyhow. Okay, I apologize, but I don't know. I apologize for that distraction, but I don't know if they're only attracted to men. I don't know if that's true. It just, we don't know. And plus, I don't like talking about homosexuality in public forums, so, if you have any questions, we could talk about it afterwards.
No,
Give
I
me my
think
number.
that's for Lawrence's class.
Okay, so every single successful marriage has had these 5 C's. Now, if there's ever a divorce, most likely all 5 C's are the opposites true. Most likely. Sometimes it's only 4. But it's for sure, these are the reasons. These are the 5 core reasons why marriages succeed or fail. Number 1, compatibility.
Did you just not love the person
Yes, and that is as a result of lack of commitment. Because, like we said, love is something that you develop. It's not something that you just have, right? In Western society, it's like, it happened. It's a happening. So if it happens, and it happens, and then it stops happening. It's not true.
So love at first sight is...
It's baloney. It's lust at first sight. Lust at first sight happens, yes. Love at first sight doesn't happen. Yes. Okay, now the number 1, this is the most important thing, compatibility. Most couples that get married, what are the determining factors that they decide that they want to get married? What brought them to make that decision?
Children. They want children.
Now, ideally,
Convenience.
what they really should be is that they're compatible. These people, they have a compatibility. They have
Same goals.
Well, are you supposed to be different or are you supposed to be opposites? So that you kind of fill in each other's hole.
It's not that cut and dry. It's not that black and white. It's not that cookie cutter. It's like, I only have 97%. It's not like it's Madden where you have like a certain amount of ring. It's much more gray. But there has to be a level of compatibility. So let's go through this. So I said this. Has anyone here ever heard of a fellow by the name of Richard Dawkins?
Who?
Richard Dawkins. No one here heard of? No, wow. Dawkins. Richard Dawkins is the most famous atheist in the world.
Yeah,
Richard Dawkins.
Yeah.
He's a famous evolutionist / atheist in the world. Now he wrote a book called The Blind Watchmaker.
Oh, I did on Jewish philosophy.
Yeah, The Blind Watchmaker, which is one of the proof brought in the Talmud of God is that, well, it's such a complex world, there has to be a creator. If you have a design, there has to be a designer. And that book deals with how maybe it's possible to have a blind watch. Is it possible to have a blind watchmaker to make a very intricate watch and not to be able to see? That's the question. Blind watchmaker. So I say there's a blind watchmaker, there's a blind matchmaker. Everyone uses a matchmaker. The question is it going to be a blind matchmaker or not? You're for sure going to use a matchmaker. It just might be yourself or your own infatuatious, lustful desires. Or it's going to be common sense, or someone who has some common sense. When you are going to decide who you're going to marry, you have to try to use as much of your intellect as possible. That's why I think that if you have a third party introduce the prospective couple, it always works out better because the third party is more impartial, is less blinded by lust, desire, infatuation, those things that causes marriages to go awry. So the first step is incompatibility. We have to reframe our way of viewing how we're going to seek out a potential spouse. We have to start looking for specific qualities which are necessary for us in a prospective spouse. Now, the deeper the relationship that you have with someone, the narrower the prospective field of persons is. What I mean like this. You're only married one person. So there's a very small field of compatibility, a very unique field of compatibility you have to have with that person. To be friends, like you guys are all friends, right? Are you guys that similar? Yes, maybe no. You know, you guys are all young. You're young males who are geschmack. I don't know if everyone knows what geschmack means. To be friends like Isaac and I, all you have to be is just geschmack and good at basketball. That's it. Geschmack means in Yiddish means like awesome, right? That's all you have to be. But to marry someone, it's much more narrow, the field of compatibility. It's much more of a unique person who could meet that relationship status. Does that make sense? Therefore, dating is a time of character discovery. Most people get divorced. One of the reasons why they get divorced is after they got married, they found out things about their spouse that they never knew before. Well, but they dated for 6 years. What happened? Well, during those 6 years, they weren't actually looking out for midot, for qualities which are necessary for them in a spouse. So therefore, after 2 years of marriage, they say, hey, I didn't sign up for this. This person is so angry or so stubborn. And they got into a few fights, and that's it. They want to bail. Well, what happened when you were dating? When they were dating, they were having fun. They had a relationship. They weren't going through the proper steps of character discovery, which are necessary for vetting potential spouses.
So you're saying dating is the way.
You have to date long.
So you have to ask them questions like, "Tell me something you don't know, about me." Or something.
Dating is not a relationship.
Hypothetically,
but what if
it's better to move in together before you get married?
Oh, that's another point, because that's what you would think. You would think that it makes sense to move in together, but it's not true. I'll tell you why. Because there's a 48% increase in divorce in couples that have slept together. 48%. That's an enormous number.
Slept together or moved in together?
I'm just thinking, you can live in separate.
Yes. That means that physical compatibility. That's not what derails marriage.
Sexually compatible.
Huh?
What if you're not sexually compatible?
What does that mean? I had someone say,
Well,
what does that mean?
before a marriage,
Like,
you're not really looking for
you guys aren't-
into
you're into
their
different
marriage.
things.
Yeah, you guys
Exactly.
are driving forward.
That's one point.
You already did it. You know
That's one point. That's another point. But there's a much deeper point. Think about it. A little bit יותר עמוק. אתה מבין עברית? A little bit of a deeper point than what David was saying. The deeper point is that when people are having a physical relationship before marriage, most likely they're not actually looking out for these character differences that are going to be so crucial to the unrailing of their marriage. They're not looking. The more you're involved in the physical relationship, the less you're involved in the intellectual relationship. The less you're involved in the intellectual relationship, the more likely you are to not see these warning signs, these red flags that will bite you in the hiney after you get married.
Ross, thank you.
You're out? That's it?
He has to go break up with his girlfriend now.
So what dates do you go into
I swear,
finding
I
out?
didn't hear the whole thing, but if you jinxed
No,
my marriage,
all
I
based
swear
on
to God.
lust.
Listen, if you didn't,
You have a girlfriend?
if you follow the rules, you'll be successful. If you don't follow the rules, I guarantee you'll fail.
5Cs?
Five
Give me
Cs.
spark notes later.
Yeah, sure.
Alright, just tell me when the gay.
Sorry, I'm still getting
Right.
So I have a question. What type of
dates do you go into find that out?
Okay,
How
so
long
first
does
of
it
all,
take?
dating is not a relationship. It's a character discovery seminar. That's what it is. You're not having a relationship. You want to know if it's compatible to have a relationship. It's not an existing relationship. It is a scouting effort. That's what I wrote down. It's just, you want to find out if the relationship is possible. It's not a relationship. You want to find out if a relationship is
So
possible.
then the
How are you
relationship.
supposed to-
Wait,
what
then
are you
the
supposed to
relationship
do?
is based on sex, because
Why?
that's the only thing you're missing out when you're dating.
That's not true.
I don't
It's not true. You
maybe
don't
raising
have a
kids.
relationship. You don't have a relationship.
Okay, so then how are you supposed to find?
Okay, so
Like just talking.
now, like I said,
months?
like I said, if you have premarital sex, the rate of divorce goes up 48%. So that means that most people who have premarital sex will likely get divorced. And the reason behind that is A, like what David said, and B, that they exhausted all the lust before the marriage. But the real reason behind that is that they took the dating process or the premarital process and they made a relationship out of it. They made a relationship out of it, so they were not looking and scouting out for the potential pitfalls of the marriage. Therefore, so there's the way to actually do this. The question you're asking: how do you get here, right? The way to actually do it is like this. First, you have to know yourself. You have to know who you are. You have to have some sort of inventory of what's important to you. And B, you have to make a list of things that you're looking for in a spouse. So I know when I was getting married, I was playing like an investigative reporter a little bit. I'm saying it doesn't sound so romantic. I understand that, but I was looking out for specific things which I knew were important to me. If you see you're with a girl who's gorgeous, let's say.
I see you.
Let's say you're dating a girl
You
that's
like interrogated her?
not interrogating her.
Like put her like in a chair.
Guys, remember, homosexuality is a sin.
You do it in a casual way. You're schmoozing. You're having a good time, but you're not. You're not like covered with lots of questions. But in your inner conversation, you try to steer the direction of the conversation towards things which are important to you, and things you want to find out. If let's say you're dating your girl, who's the most gorgeous thing since Marilyn Monroe. She's totally gorgeous, right? But you find out that she's stubborn. You have to drop the relationship. Have to. Is that clear to hear? You gotta drop it. Because you'll just suffer in the long term.
I only got 3 of this 5 C's. I'm trying to realize commitment, complete sexual utility, compatibility.
We'll get there. We just finished compatibility.
I got it. Utility.
You hear this, guys? If you have a relationship with a woman,
But they have to be attractive also.
for sure that's to be attractive. That's one of the things that's important. But you made a list of 5 or 10 things which are
So
important
you're
to you.
allowed to be shallow like in the beginning.
Well, obviously, if you're not attracted, you're not allowed to marry someone that you're not attracted to. But that's not the only thing. Because if that's the only thing, well, first of all, what's going to happen when she's 75 and she starts losing her teeth? If the relationship is just built on attraction, it probably won't last more than a year. Probably. If that's all it's based upon, if that's all a marriage is based upon, is just physical looks, I'm telling you, it probably won't last 6 months. That's it. Because there's just a certain amount of time that infatuation could take you. Afterwards, if there's just no real relationship, that's it. It's over. So yeah, it's important, but it's not the most important thing. It's necessary, but it's not the only thing. The last thing in compatibility is don't maintain heavy relationships with people who you don't intend to marry. Every person that you have a deep relationship with adds to your emotional baggage. The more emotional baggage you have, the harder it is to actually have a real relationship with one person for 50 years. It's not worth it. Don't maintain deep, heavy relationships with people you're not going to marry.
How do you
If
know
you-
that?
Huh?
How do you know?
If you see a girl stubborn, you said there's no way I'll ever marry this girl, but she's so much fun. Drop her. You don't need her.
But
What's
the only
it
way
gonna do for you?
find out- Like, so you're saying, unless you know for sure, then drop. Like, unless you
Oh, no.
if you know for sure, drop it. But if you don't
You
know
can't
for
tell
sure,
what
then
If you don't know for
It's
sure,
proper.
then fine. It shouldn't be a heavy relationship, but it should be either it should be a relationship of friends, but it should not be a deep, heavy relationship if you know for sure that she's not for you. Okay, that's compatibility. We know how to do it. How to do it? The way to do it is to find out what you need in a spouse, and when you're dating, you're not having a relationship. You're looking for those things which are on your list. Common goals. So why do we go to college, everyone?
Education.
To get a degree. Why do you get a degree? Why do you get a degree? To get a job. Why do you want a job?
To prove your wife
To make money. Why do you want money?
To live.
To prove to your wife.
To have food. To have food. It's the real reason why. Sustenance. Why are you having food?
To live.
Why are you living?
Get married. To reproduce.
To do
To reproduce.
No, that's not the reason why you're living.
Just get by.
It's a mixed stuff.
Wait, so what if you don't go to college?
I'm just trying to demonstrate. Everyone here during college, right? I'm just saying.
Is your cable on?
The end of all those questions will be to live. But most people ask them, so why are you living for? Most people won't have an answer. Most people will not have an answer. And if you want to have common goals, the first step in common goals is to develop a goal for yourself in your life. To find out what are you willing to die for. Nathaniel, what are you willing to die for?
Me.
Rio.
Me.
Rio, you're funny.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Find out what you're willing to die for.
And then
Articulate it. Be clear. Know exactly what you're willing to die for, and then live for that thing. That's the
That's
first
that's
step.
so hard to answer.
What do you say?
No.
That's hard. That's a hard question, Barry.
I want to die for basketball.
A marriage can only succeed if a couple shares common goals. Like the way I illustrate this is that you cannot go on a lifelong journey with someone if you don't know where you're going for. The reasons why a lot of marriages fail is because they're like, why are we living together for?
But that's
What
like
are we
saying-
doing?
That's like saying you have to know your purpose in life. But
You have to have some sort of purpose in life.
How are you
And
supposed to just know what your purpose is in life?
what's important to you? What do you want to die for?
Yeah, what's important to you now is not going to be important
Yeah.
Well,
to you in 10 years.
but you could
Very
project.
wealthy.
It's a projection.
Oh, now you're going to the lot.
And the second your projection, you and your spouse project the same way. So even if it deviates a little bit, you're deviating together. You're one team. Remember? Remember your
The
team.
one you read here once. The one my sisters read.
Lost generation.
Yeah, and my boss didn't know that same.
The way the thing that we could do about this right here, right now. Everyone, take a look, please, at this piece of paper.
It's a blank picture.
Gentlemen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here.
See the circle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see
This.
Well,
Everyone see the
it's more
circle?
like a-
We're
Huh?
it's more like an oval.
This first circle is the practical things in life, which means you have to have enough money to support your family. You have to live in a comfortable place where you're able to afford a house and be able to send your kids to school. Practical things in life. The first thing when you make a life goal is to find out what's practical. The second thing is to find out what am I good at. Practical. And what am I? Practical, and what are you good at? Which means, what do I want to do in life? What excites me? Do I want to become I'm very good at plumbing, or I'm very handy, but I'm not going to become a plumber. I'm good at analytical skills, so maybe I'll become a lawyer. That sounds pretty practical, right? There's the good and the practical. You're looking for the overlap. And the last thing is, what can I do to benefit the world? This is just as an exercise that you could do if you want to develop a lifelong goal. You look at these three things. Number one, what does the world need? What can I offer the world? Number two, what's practical? I can't do something which is not practical. I can't move to Africa and just, help people there. It's not practical. And number three is, what am I good at? What I want to do? And you're looking for that thing in the middle. Where all these 3 points converge, something that you're good at, something that you want to do, something that's practical for you, and something that the world needs, you have the makings of your plan for your life goal. If you could find a woman who has a similar kind of pie chart, where your common goals are the same, much more likely to have a successful marriage. Much more likely.
No more fruit.
There's a
You
whole
want one more
thing
answer?
over there.
Or one more.
I've had
That you
8.
want to.
I've had 9 or 8. 9.
9 or 8?
Let's see. 8 so far.
Number 3.
1, 2, I have about 5.
Gentlemen.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, I definitely have 5. One more.
Gentlemen, do I have your attention?
Yes.
We did compatibility, common goals. Number 3 is the most important, commitment. Without commitment, a couple is roommates. That's all they are. They're 2 roommates. That's all they have. If you don't have commitment, you're guaranteed that the marriage will fail. Either by divorce or it just won't be worth anything. What's the proper attitude in this? Nathaniel, what's your commitment to your hand? Huh? How committed are you to your hand? How?
Pretty committed. Pretty attached.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, what if you, let's say, walking down the street and you see someone with a nicer hand? Or your hand... Are you going to trade your hand for that? For that hand?
Like a hand model? Or like,
No, if you see someone with really nice hands. How committed are you to your hands versus someone else?
I like my hands. I mean,
What
they
if-
get pretty dry in the winter, but like, other than that.
You're not committed to your hand. You are your hand. That's part of your body. The only
You're a
the only
billionaire.
way
Say that.
the only
You're a
way
billionaire.
the only way for you to cut off your hand
I missed it again.
is if it becomes gangrene. If it becomes gangrene and starts to influence the rest of the body, that's the only way you'll cut off. That's the only way you'll be willing to amputate your hand. True?
I mean, if I'm like stuck like in a rock or something.
Right.
cut it off.
The only
127 hours.
that is the same relationship you have to have with your spouse. It's not like it's a friend or someone who lives with you or someone who you really like, it's you. It's who you are. That's the level of commitment. There's a story of Rabbi Aryeh Levin, who is the father-in-law of Rabbi Eliashiv. Maybe has anyone ever heard of Rabbi Eliashiv? He's like 103 years old rabbi, lives in. His father-in-law was Rabbi Aryeh Levin, and he's a famous story. He once went to the doctor with his wife, and he told the doctor, my wife's foot hurts us.
What?
My wife's leg hurts us.
She kicks her children.
What? My wife's leg hurts us. His wife's leg was hurting, and it hurt him as much as it hurt her. Because they really were committed to each other to such a degree that they were like two parts of one whole.
Your hair hurts.
That is what we mean when we say commitment. When you get married to someone, you are in effect saying, I'm living with this person the same I'm living with my hand. Forever, no matter if someone who's more beautiful shows up. So what? So what? So you saw another beautiful hand, you chop off your hand because someone's hand is nicer than yours? That is a level of commitment you have to have if you want your marriage to succeed. In Judaism, we go under the chuppah, on the wedding canopy, the bride surrounds the groom 7 times to demonstrate this point. When you get married, you are binding yourself to this person forever. Marriage is like a tattoo. Forever. You cannot undo it. Or you can undo it. But your attitude has to be that it's like a tattoo. It's there forever. Unless you get the laser treatments. Right? That's a good example. Marriage is like a tattoo. I like to write that down.
Marriage is like a tattoo.
Marriage is like a tattoo.
Take it with you to the
25.
grave. Oh.
Marriage is like a tattoo. You are getting into this thing and you're going to stick with it forever unless you want to go through the painful procedures of laser removal. That is the attitude you have to have. Divorce is appropriate when there's abuse, when there's destructive relationship, when the children are suffering, etc. But otherwise, you're getting married to someone, married forever. So now, guys, imagine, has anyone here ever been to LA?
Yeah.
So in LA, there's a commonplace thing that you see. You see like the 86-year-old business mogul who is married to this 22-year-old. Now,
It's love.
why would we guess? Why is he married? Why is he married to her?
Sugar daddy.
Why he's married to her because of?
It's like better looking
You
than
know that
any other
16-year-old that
Indian.
married that like 4-year-old?
Yeah, what's her name?
Yeah.
I don't know her name.
I don't know her name, but
Now, why
For money.
is she marrying him?
money because
She makes him feel good because
She is waiting for the battery in his pacemaker to
Yeah,
go
God,
out.
God soon as he'll get an inheritance.
Are we talking about half?
My boy
Or
Ted.
not?
Most people get married for selfish
Yeah.
reasons.
Yeah.
The reason why we get married is for commitment. The reason why we get married is for commitment. It's important, guys. Another thing, you get married
She doesn't know her own name.
to demonstrate that commitment.
Judaism or is this just in there?
This is Judaism. This is Judaism. This is Judaism with a healthy dose of common sense, which is also Judaism.
No, it's fine.
Now,
Then it's fine.
if you ask marriage counselors, they will say, do not have separate, do not share your money, right? Everyone has their own bank account. They put the house on both of their names, right? Just they have to own everything equally. All those little things that people do are just escape routes. Don't leave any escape routes. You go in, you dive in, you go in totally into the marriage. You're totally committed, right? You have to share the bank account. You share everything. You're in this for the long term. It's your tattoo. You're not going away from it. Don't leave an exit that you could sneak out. When it gets a little bit difficult, I mean, don't make it easy for you to do. But we don't believe in drive-through divorces. No drive-through divorces. No mail-in divorces. Because there will be challenges. Every marriage has its challenges. You don't want it to be easy to run away because every marriage has challenges. Successful marriages have challenges. Unsuccessful marriages have challenges. The difference is, are you going to escape the second time it gets a little bit difficult? The second it gets a little difficult, you escape? Every tiny obstacle you run away? No. You're going to bear through it. You're committed. That's the definition of commitment. This is the most important one, guys. If you take any one of these, take commitment. That's it. That's the attitude. It's a reframing. It's a reframing of our attitude towards marriage. We are not getting divorced. No one sitting here, David, space in. No one sitting here will get divorced. Right? Okay, let's go on there. I want everyone to say, I will not get divorced. I'll say, I will not get divorced.
I will not drink again.
I will not get divorced.
I will not get divorced.
You're going to be the
I will
first
not
one.
Nathaniel.
I will not get divorced.
I am Nathaniel.
Isaac
and I will
Machine will
not
not get divorced.
Okay, you hear this? That is the attitude.
No,
We're...
what's it called? The mans are the only ones who are allowed to
That's not
file
true.
divorce.
That's not true. Judaism is not true. It's a direct, major misconception. Incorrect. It's not true. Okay, now a subcategory of commitment. A subcategory of commitment is that, like everything else in life, you cannot put things on autopilot.
Wait, so then why use pre-sign?
If not, you can't
That's
multitask.
an escape route.
You don't pre-sign people. What does that mean?
Yeah, because
A what? A get?
Before you marry, you sign a get. What?
No,
Yeah, so
Tuba, not a get. A get
no,
is a divorce.
I know.
They're saying when they go to war?
Because a guy, because a man doesn't have to give a woman a get. So if the woman really needs to get out, then she could just use that.
Really?
It's a
I never heard of that.
It's a
That's
Syrian
clever, but that's
I
not.
heard of
That's not the way we do
It's a
things.
Syrian.
Okay, so B of this is that you cannot put things in autopilot. We don't. Judaism and everything in spirituality and in Judaism, it's like you're on a treadmill. If you don't move forward, if you don't advance, you regress. If you don't take steps to improve your marriage will regress. Just like there's a story of love that this woman came to the judge, said, "I want to get divorced." Why do you want to get divorced? The judge asked her. She said, "Because he doesn't love me." And he says, "What? We're married for 17 years. The day we got married, I told you I love you. And if it changes, I'll notify you." That's a joke, guys.
Yeah, I got it. He doesn't want to get divorced.
We're gonna laugh here. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Just like we understand that it's ludicrous to tell a woman once that you love her. and if anything changes, I'll notify you. That's ludicrous. So too, it has to be that you work on your relationship, on your love, constantly. You constantly work on it and work on dealing with all those themes, all those little bumps in the road which invariably happen, to work on your own midot, become a better person and more easy to acclimate in the relationship. Has anyone ever heard of the concept of an emotional bank account?
Yes.
Yes, an emotional bank account. You want to?
It's in the 5-7 things of highly effective.
Oh.
So I have it highly effective people. It's in that book.
Yes. Okay. So you want
You read
to?
it?
Yes, I have read it.
That's fine.
Do you want to?
No, please. It's your class.
An emotional bank account means that there are things that you could like we view a relationship as an emotional bank account. You constantly put in, you're able to take out, right? You want to go spend the night with the boys and drink some beer and watch some football, right? Now your wife doesn't watch football. I guarantee 99.9% of women don't like football. It doesn't make any sense. How can you not like football? But we're men. We don't understand it, right? It's hard for us to understand how it's possible to not enjoy football. But you want to go, so that is a withdrawal from the emotional bank account. You just lost a few points. But you could constantly, with my brother's always fond of saying, there's a AAA of emotions in marriage. The attention, affection, appreciation. Every time you give your wife attention, every time you give her affection, every time you give her appreciation, you're putting another dollar in your emotional bank account. So we all will have our times where we have to make those withdrawals, which is fine. But constantly beef up the positive side of the emotional bank account. That is the deposit. Thank you. So that is the idea of commitment. Commitment is you come in with an attitude of this is here to stay, and you constantly foster, you constantly sustain or maintain or grow or augment the emotional relationship. Not only you come with an attitude, but you come with an attitude of working on the relationship. That's number 3. Number 4, communication. My opinion is that instead of dating for so many years before marriage, you should spend your time becoming acquainted with the opposite sex. Men and women are created differently. They're created differently. There's language barriers between men and women. The women are more emotional, intuitive. Men are more technical, intellectual. It's important to learn how to communicate with members of the opposite sex. Learn how to deal with a woman before you get married. And even during marriage, this is important. Don't have expectations that you do not voice. If you want something, say it. Don't expect it to happen by itself. This is important. Sometimes men, like your wife might have that, you'll have an expectation. Say it. Talk about it. Important. Communication. Number 5, complete sexual fidelity. 3 studies. First study, couples during the first month of marriage have on average sexual relations about 17 times the first month. By the end of the first year, it's down to 8 times monthly. 8 times monthly. So obviously we see a major decrease. That's the first study. Second study. People who were married less than 3 years said, 72% married less than 3 years. 72% of them have sex at least several times a week, and 58% say that sex life is very exciting. Sounds pretty good, right? 72% have sex more than once a week, and 58% say that their sex life is very exciting. Okay,
Exciting?
very exciting. Okay, now fast forward. This is the same study. People were married more than 10 years. So we had people married less than 3. Now people married more than 10 years. Now, only 32% of them are having sex at least several times a week. A drop of 40%. And only 29% of them say their sex life is very exciting. A drop of also 29%. Obviously, we see when people get married, they live with each other, the novelty of the relationship wanes. And obviously, what does that cause? Sexual boredom, which causes seeking alternatives. That is the major gateway to infidelity, is through sexual boredom. And now we know that infidelity, old people, what's wrong with being old?
Old people have affairs.
I'm old. I feel like I'm old. I'm 25. I can't believe
Saying
it.
wrinkles and sad.
John
So what? So what?
I mean, so what?
So what's your point?
You're gonna have sexual boredom because you're not gonna be attracted.
First of all, I want to tell you that by the time a couple's in their 70s and they've been living together for 30, 40, 50 years, no, that's not true. It's not necessarily true. But thanks to Viagra, it's still
Still possible.
yes. But the relationship is so much deeper than just sex. Sex is just one small part of it. It's so deeper. They care each other so much. You think of your grandparents who are in their 90s. No, they love each other and care for each other. Don't know. I'm saying their love and care for each other. The relationship is so much deeper than just physical. That's obviously you build it up. It's not just based on physicality. But oftentimes people, when they're in their 30s or even in their 20s, they're married for a couple of years and they already won out because of the lack of fulfillment on the physical side of the marriage. And the third study is 36% of, we have a fourth one also. 36% of respondents who were not satisfied in their sexual relationship have cheated on their spouses. So we see people are not happy necessarily, or the further they are away from the marriage, the less excited they are, and the less excited they are, the more likely they are to cheat. And the last study is that couples, if you take the average couple and you tell them every time they sleep together, the first 5 years of their marriage, they drop a coin into a jar. Right? Every time we sleep together, drop a coin in a jar. Chink. Right? Clink. Now, after 5 years of marriage, the jar is pretty full. Now, every time you sleep together, after 5 years, take a coin out. Got it? Is this too complicated in mathematics? Right? 5 years, first 5 years, every time you sleep, you put one in. After 5 years, you start taking out. After 50 years, most couples will still have coins in the jar. Which means that most people will sleep together, most married.
Forget to take the coins out, or?
No, most couples will sleep together more often in the first 5 years of the marriage than the last 50. The reason behind it is loss of novelty. It's not exciting anymore, it's boring. And the only solution to this problem is observing the laws of Nida. That's the only way to do it. There's no other solution. I don't have any fancy solution, any modern solution. Okay, so Nida is. I'll explain to you right here, right now. A woman has something called a period. Have you heard of a period? You know what that is? Okay, so it's the women have every 30 days. There's a cycle where the body prepares itself to have a baby, and then there's no baby, so it just totally goes nuts, like it goes up and down, right? Now it's like no, the lining of the uterus gets full of blood, preparing to have a baby. Then if there's no baby there, if there's no conception, if there's no fertilization, then the blood will just all go out and it'll start the new cycle again. Now during that time when the blood is flowing, and for about 2 weeks, in Torah law, in halacha, the men and women, the husband and wife, are not allowed to touch each other. They're not allowed to kiss each other. They're not allowed to sleep together. There's a bunch of laws governing the separation.
Where do you sleep?
During what period? What time? On the couch.
During from when they have.
Where would you sleep though? Like on the couch? Like
Well, no.
You're supposed to
So
have two separate
every
beds that are
every observant couple has 2 beds.
but like pushed together.
Well, either you have 2 massive beds, you have 2 king size beds, and you only use one of them during half the month, or you could
What?
find a way around it. Get 2 beds. What's the big deal?
Or sleep on the couch.
Yeah, no, you don't sleep on the couch. You have a bed. You have another bed. Now, so during these 2 weeks, so from when she has a period till no. The cycle starts 30 days
What
later.
about after menopause?
After menopause, there's no period, so there's no
So
period.
If you're on
she's
the
fine.
pill and you don't do it, like none of this happens.
Well, on the pill, sometimes there's spotting with it. There's a lot of problems
So
with
if
the pill.
You want to sleep in the same bed as your
Birth
wife
control.
year round, you have to put her on the pill or something?
No,
And
you
so
don't
that
want to
means she's
because
pregnant, then you can
it's every single couple who observes this swears by it.
But if
'Cause
she's
it's-
not if
Now-
she's pregnant, then you can do it.
yes,
Because then
pregnant, right? Exactly. When she's pregnant, then you have 9 months.
9 months.
Now, but I want to tell you, I want to explain to you, Jesse. Every single couple that observes these laws swears by it. Because this is what it says in the Talmud. The Talmud was written about 1,500 years ago. It says, Rabbi Meir says, if there is no Nida laws observed, the couple will lose interest in each other very, very fast. But if they observe the laws of Nida, then they have a honeymoon every single month. Every single month you have the same feeling as by the honeymoon. That's the benefit of observing the Nida
What if
laws.
you're on your honeymoon and it's during Nida?
That's awkward.
That's why you have to. That's why you have to plan your
Honeymoon
honeymoon.
And you gotta do yichud during Nida?
Yes.
You are. So that's like
Unless the couple has never consummated their marriage.
never.
You can't have
Consummated.
yichud with your.
Unless they never had a
Wait,
successful.
you can't have yichud with your.
Isaac, do you
Like
You
that's
can.
part of nida.
You can have.
Like during that time of nida, you can.
You can have yichud. Yichud means seclusion.
Yeah,
Yes, of course
you
you
can.
can. Yes, unless, like I said to
You're still
Isaac,
not allowed to touch in that
right,
seclusion.
right. Unless you have never consummated your marriage, means like the first, if let's say they're not successful in wedding night to consummate the marriage, then what do I mean to consummate marriage? It means to
First time.
yeah, to have. So these laws are that everyone who observes them swears by them because it really is like a refresh button.
So
It's
for
a-
Nida, it's the period from when they had it.
So she has the period. It flows for about 5 days. She has something called 7 clean days, which means there's no blood. After that, after 7 full days, she goes to the mikvah. Right? Mikvahs are for women, by the way, not for men. She goes to the mikvah, and then it's free flow.
So what do you do, like, generally, because
So it's
obviously
like
not everyone
12
agrees, if you don't want to have kids for,
What do you do with me?
like, do you wear a condom, do you use a pill?
Obviously, if you don't have kids, so now with regards to birth control,
Not if you can't have kids.
in halacha,
You don't want
in halacha,
Yeah.
Yeah.
in halacha. So if you don't want to have kids, first of all, this is always a question for a rabbi. So it's
Everyone
case by
has their own
case.
opinion.
It's a case by case, but yes, it's one of those things you have to talk to a rabbi about. But the permissible forms of birth control are ones where it does not stop the semen from leaving his body. So condom is generally prohibited. But the other methods, there are many other methods which stop it from the woman's side. Like the pill is fine. Most women use the pill. I have my whatever. I have opinions on the matter also. So if you want to talk to me about it, I'm also a certified rabbi. You can talk about it. But no, because there's a problem with spilling seed. The second the seed goes into the woman's body.
Both of Yehuda's sons
Exactly.
died with it.
Exactly. So once the seed goes into the woman's body, it's fine. So even if you kill it from the woman's body, i.e. through an IUD or through the pill or through diaphragm, all these things that they use, that's fine.
What's
Don't
the
stop.
why that's
What's
abortion? That is.
What about abortion?
What's the din on
Abortion is, well, I have a lot to say in abortion as well. I did a lot of studying it. So there's a lot of different opinions. What's clear is that discretionary abortion for no reason is for sure prohibited, and abortion when it's dangerous for the mother is for sure permitted. Question is, what about all the in-between cases? Abortion in a case where you just don't want to have kids because, for no reason. If there's no good reason, abortion is prohibited in Jewish law. If there is a good reason,
There usually is a reason.
then it depends.
No,
If it's dangerous to the
If you're
mother,
raped,
if it's a
you're
health
allowed to.
health concern to the mother, then it's for sure
I don't
fine.
think there's ever a case of abortion where there's just no reason to.
No, it's just I'm not with having another kid or
Like you have 5 kids and you don't want to have any more.
That's
yeah.
a reason though.
That's not a it depends. Is you have to know is it really emotionally troublesome for the woman to have a baby, or it's like I don't want to have a kid but I really could, but I'm lazy.
What if it's dangerous financially?
Financial, that's another good point. These are things obviously for a rabbi.
Alright.
But guys, these 5 things, if you want to avoid having a miserable marriage, these 5 things should be heeded to religiously, with religious fanaticism. Okay? Number 1, compatibility, find the right one. Don't get caught up by the externalities of the things. Number 2, common goals. You have to be going somewhere in life. You want to, marriages fail because they're not going anywhere. They're just living together. They don't have a goal in life. They're not going on a journey somewhere. They're just together. You can't be together for the ride if you're not going anywhere. Communication. It's important to have communication. That's the way to solve a lot of problems, in marriage problems. Number 3 is commitment, right? Because commitment is the most important one. Reframing, right? Marriage is not. We all sat around the table. Everyone agreed. We're not getting divorced. Why? Because we're not getting divorced. Why? Because we're not getting divorced. Because we're committed to it. You get married, you're committed to it. This is a tattoo. The marriage is a tattoo. You don't remove it unless the laser very painful, right? It's forever. The last thing is complete sexual fidelity, which can only be attained, in my opinion, through observing the laws of Nida. If you follow these 5 things, you're guaranteed success. If you don't follow these 5 things, in all likelihood, you'll fail like the rest of the United States.
Half of.
Yes. No, half the ones have divorce. Most of them are not divorced, but they don't even sleep in the same room together. They have nothing to do with each other. They're roommates.
But weren't we talking about divorce?
Well, we were. That was just an illustration. But ultimately, we don't just want to not get divorced.
Just because you're married doesn't mean your marriage is successful.
He said this is.
Does anything happen? Well,
I will not get divorced. We were not saying.
like in everything, no, like everything
I will
else
have to
in
Why are we aiming so low?
in Judaism, like everything else in Judaism, eating pig is just not healthy. But the reason why we don't eat it is not because it's not healthy, right? Eating milk and meat together is not healthy, but it's not the reason why we don't eat it. Similarly, for a woman during Nida, it's not healthy for her. But that's not why. It's not why we don't do it. It's not healthy for her. It's not healthy for him either. So there's blood there. It's a mess. Because it says what? It's a mitzvah in the Torah. It's a mitzvah in the Torah.
It's for marriage, really. That's what it's for. Probably.
Yeah, but in the Talmud they explain the reason behind it. Well, it's challenging. No one's going to say it's easy. No one. Ask anyone who observes it. No one will say it's easy. But no one would trade it for anything.
Why? It's kind of crazy. Like you can't give your wife this
Well,
without putting it down for us and letting her take it.
Those are just reminders.
But it's not like that's not like super strict. Right?
Those are reminders.
That's not like crazy strict though. Is
Well,
it?
that's Shulchan Aruch. So that's halacha. You can't deny it. You can't get away with it. You can't avoid it.
You know, you pass something directly. And like
They
you
put on the
have to
table
like 2 things of salt. You're supposed to do something different, like when you eat. You're supposed to like have a
Yeah,
different
there's
utensil,
a lot of reminders and halacha reminders to remind you that she's in Nida status.
You're only doing that in that period.
It's about 2 weeks. It's about 2 weeks. 12 days to 15
Are you
days.
allowed to do like morning after pill, or is that not?
Well, morning after pill, we don't really know how it works. Morning after pill may be abortion-like. It may be, well, there already is conception, but the embryo, or whatever you want to call the fetus, is just so small it's going to be killed.
Why does this even have to enter the womb? Like, why is that so important?
Because it's
Why?
I think
You're not allowed to like spill seed.
Yes.
Yeah, I know, like, why?
It's tons of it. No,
Why?
there's a lot.
what?
There's a lot of semen.
I know, but is there like a reason?
What?
why
Every drop of semen has like millions of
Right,
sperm.
but I'm saying there's so much in your body. No.
No, you have 2 little factories there.
Kabbalah says like it turns into like if you spill seeds. Like,
Yeah, it's
little
not
like
bad.
Demon
Not
babies.
stuff, but you have a.
You know how you get
Yes.
rid of the
Right, so
DNA?
it's not like it's not like your eyesight out of the back. Like you lose it and it just doesn't come back.
Yeah, of course. You have 2 little factories. The
Making
testicles are
matzah?
factories of
Making
producing
Like grinding up the wheat.
sperm and
Still like
semen.
a million potential. Keeps the fires. Jillion potential babies.
No, because it's not like that. Though.
That could have been. That could have been like.
You kill coffee.
You could have
one or
had
two.
Yeah, like, it doesn't make sense.
What does that sense? Ask.
You could have had 3
Like,
Chinas.
that,
I'm just.
you're not wasting, because, like, your body just remakes it.
I don't understand what you're saying. Say
Like
it again.
the-
Flesh it out for us. What about semen?
Like, your body remakes it.
Your
so
body's
it's not like
constantly
you're
making
wasting it.
And your body's.
Okay,
It
but
dies
once you
inside
got,
of your body.
no, but it's like saying. Let me tell you what it's like saying. It's like saying, well, when Stalin killed 100 million Russians, he didn't. They just reproduce him. Yeah, you just kill those, but there's more and more.
I'm not killing anyone because no one's actually alive.
No, it's potential. But life potential.
I'm not gonna-
Life potential equals life.
Every
Just
time,
like
every
just
time
like-
you have sex,
well,
only one sperm or 2 maybe.
no,
Yeah.
only one because the woman only has one.
Millions. Or thousands.
Yeah, the woman has only one egg,
Right. Exactly. So why is
which
that?
is like demonstrative of the difference between men and women. Men are like everywhere, like a million ideas. A woman is like one thing.
Yeah, but that means they don't have a choice. Also, we have like 1,000 billion.
Lawrence, what's your phone?
What?
What's your phone number?
713-252-44.
Okay, are we done? Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
I don't understand like the dating thing. Like, do you only just go to one-on-one dinners?
Well,
That means you like go
try to
the
find
movies.
settings. That a movie is a terrible place to date. Or movies.
I
You
are
gotta
see.
watch a movie.
Because what do you gain? Nothing. It's just a
Right,
way to have
that's
fun.
what I'm asking. So
You
you
go to a
just-
movie by yourself.
You
No,
go to
wait,
dinner-
no,
how
wait a
can you
second.
just go to
You find
dinner
out if
for-
they're like a person that talks to you all the time during movies, or like if they have an annoying laugh, like.
Yeah.
No,
And also, how
you
do
don't
you
want to
know
wind
they're
up
just
to
gonna
ask
change
unless you want someone who asks
once
you
you get
questions.
married?
I'm sorry? Nothing changes after you. Nothing changes, most likely. It just. Most people say, well, they weren't like this before they got married. Well, they actually were like this before you got married. You just didn't look out. You didn't know. You didn't notice it because you weren't looking out for it. So a movie's a terrible place to go. Terrible.
But how do you?
But does it
how
say
do you
as
really find
It
somebody?
says Lucien 25.
Well, either use a shotgun, or have a friend suggest
Maybe
one,
set up
or
a
if you know a nice
second
girl. But don't just use your desires to determine who you're going to go after. That's stupid because those things don't last.
Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I know what I'm going to do.
Add a field.